Okay, welcome everyone to today's Team Personal Best webinar. I've gone through logistics and stuff for the webinar before I pressed record, and I've given brief introductions. So all it takes from me now really is to hand over to Kerry and Lucy, who are going to talk through Team Personal Best. If there's any questions, they're going to be via the chat box, and I can make that script available afterwards, so we can send that out afterwards too. So I will say we've allocated an hour for today, but it certainly won't take that long. I always just allocate a bit longer, just in case there's any technical issues or any discussion points, but we're certainly not anticipating the full hour. We just allocate that time just to be on the safe side. So hopefully this will all work well, and I'll hand you over now to Lucy and Kerry.
Lovely, thanks Lee. Firstly, thank you very much for giving up your time to listen to what we've got to tell you today. So my name is Lucy Broad, and I'm the Team Personal Best Coordinator, and I'm based at the London 2017 team. And we've also got Kerry Marland, who is the Volunteer Manager for England Athletics. So we are going to be talking. Can I just check with everybody that's gone on to the next slide?
Yeah, that's all working fine.
Yeah, perfect. Brilliant. Okay, so what we're going to talk to you about today. So hopefully you're all aware that this summer London will be hosting the World Para Athletics Championships and also the IAAF World Championships. And this is the first time a city's ever done this back to back. And that's because the kind of national organisations think that London can sell the most tickets. We've got 75,000 school children come into the park for the World Para Athletics, and we've got some really good projects going on to engage with the UK over the summer. Obviously, that will bring a natural increase in interest in athletics and running up and down the country. So as an organisation, we want to make sure we're ready for this. We've got organisations, clubs, and people we work with ready for what's about to come. So the Inspiration Programme is a really vast programme actually. So there's 11 grassroots athletics projects, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the strands later. I'm going to be talking to you about the community strand today, and then also Kerry's going to be talking about volunteering a little bit later on. One common kind of aspect of the Inspiration Programme is everything comes under Team Personal Best. That's the public facing campaign that we're using. So as I said before, I've got 11 different projects across 5 different themes. The volunteering and the volunteering strands has been funded by the Spirit of 2012. This project goes on further than the championships. All the others kind of finish September the 30th, but this project actually lasts for 3 years. And it's the impact on wellbeing and satisfaction of volunteers currently in athletics and running. Disability, there's lots of different projects within this one. So we've got an online mental health challenge, which is kicking off on the 3rd of July, called 17 Minutes for Me. And we've got a disability summit, inspiration clubs, and we've also got some small grants that are available to affiliated athletics and running clubs and to support them to deliver disability athletics this year. Schools, quite a simple one, but we've got a free schools resources available till the 30th of September. Very similar if you've heard of the 365 resources that England Athletics have currently got, but we're giving those out for free until September the 30th, so that's a good one for schools. International is part of the project, but that's delivered by UK Sport and UKA. So there's lots of different projects going on in countries like Kosovo, Chile, and St. Lucia, 10 in total, with some really impactful stuff going on. And then finally, there's community. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about community, but we've produced an activity finder, which is going to be linked heavily with BBC Get Inspired throughout the championships. We're delivering workshops in London, but they're also available online, similar to what we're doing today, webinars with other areas as of July. And there's also been a pot of funding delivered and distributed to London organisations, a total of 400,000 from the Mayor of London. So, community. So this is the strands that I coordinate. So Team Personal Best is a campaign to celebrate what's already happening, so grassroots athletics and running, to connect those inspired by the championships to take part in activities within their community, and inspire groups and people outside athletics to come and do something to celebrate. So why have we created this? As an organisation, England Athletics learned a lot from London 2012, and there was a lot of interest within athletics and running, and without the capacity of the clubs. Following on from London 2012, there was lots of waiting lists, not enough coaches being trained up, officials, volunteers to kind of deal with that capacity. So actually people were getting potentially bad experiences going to clubs, or weren't being able to take part in athletics and running. So we want to anticipate this demand a bit better this year, and we want to signpost effectively and to those people who can cope with more participants and actually want more participants. We still have nationally, we still have some athletics clubs that are at capacity, so it's actually looking within those areas and who else can deliver some athletics to kind of take that load off. So this includes kind of run together groups, your school events, community providers, and anybody else that you as CSPs work with, so local authorities, sports centres, and we're happy to kind of take your views on that. We also want people from other sports to feel engaged with athletics and running. We think it's a perfect opportunity to engage people like football, to use athletics as off-season training for them and do something a little bit more special and niche over the 6 weeks where there's going to be a real big interest in our sport. So what would your networks or you get from signing up to Team Personal Best? So if we just focus on the image at the bottom. So as you can see, we've created this really straightforward, simple website. So I'll tell you how to sign up to it later on. But as you can see, a user will go onto the website, they'll put their postcode in, or they'll put the date that they may be available to participate in athletics, and then a map will come up, as you can see on the right-hand side, with all different types of events that are happening. This doesn't have to be just during the championship period, so events are happening now up until the 30th of September, and so it's not just during the 2 weeks of the IPC and the 2 weeks of the IAAF championships, it's throughout the summer. These can be a range of different events, so your traditional track and field meet, traditional 5K, 10K run, but we've also put things like a bake sale with an athletics theme. We've put volunteer or officials open days and training. There's lots of different ways, festivals, fates, because we've thought to engage with a wider group of people, not just traditional athletics, track and field events will cater to those. So what will people get if they sign up to Team Personal Best? So national promotion over the championships. We are closely linked with the BBC Get Inspired page. UK Sport, London 2017, for England will all be pushing out events and the Team Personal Best message over the championships. We've signed up some great athletes to be able to do some athlete visits. This doesn't need to just be in events. This could maybe be in a school assembly, to your traditional kind of club night, or it could be to your community festival. Hopefully you've all seen the mascots here in Wisby, the London 2017 mascots, which were designed by a young girl through a Blue Peter competition. So we've got access to those to come out, and maybe some of your community festivals would be really impactful. We've got access to Team Personal Best branding and resources. So we want to make it really easy for people to put on events, not necessarily to put on new events. They could be events that have been planned for the whole year, but we want them to feel like Team Personal Best and make people feel like they're part of the celebration and also the championship. So that's all easily accessible. And then also part of the community strand is workshops. So part of our funding from Sport England is to deliver 10 workshops before the championship starts, and then 10 after in September. So this funding is for London specifically to ensure our clubs, organisations, networks are ready to take on the influx of people who are wanting to get involved, but also to think about in September how to sustain this interest. So once the championships are finished, it doesn't all stop there, that programme can continue. So these workshops will be available online for you all to share with your networks for them to kind of deliver themselves to their athletics clubs, community organisations. So I've had a little look at some of your websites and kind of tried to pick out some ideas from what you're currently doing and how we can Team Personal best apply them. And I think the key message is to promote what you're currently doing and to celebrate some of the projects that are currently underway, but also to inspire people to do something a little bit different. So school games finals. So a really good opportunity would be to promote your school games finals or any big competitions as a spectator activity. So that's an option on the Team Personal Best website. We found through some research that people actually just enjoy watching athletics and they want to find places to watch athletics in their local community, as well as watching it at the Olympic Park and also on their screens during the summer. So that could be a good option, but also to promote your volunteer opportunities. So if you're looking for volunteers to help with these big events, then we can definitely put that down. Or potentially your networks are looking for volunteers. So we can put all the advert out there. So also promoting again your existing activities, holiday camps, running clubs. So are your networks currently delivering this? This is a good way of promoting. We also learned from London 2012, there's a very short period where people will look at this website. So we're talking about 6 weeks. So 2 weeks during the IPC, the 2 weeks in between, and then the 2 weeks for the IAAF World Championships. Really short space that people will be looking through the BBC Get Inspired, looking at our website. So using that as a tool to kind of get new members and new participants if that's what's needed within those sessions. Another promoting, so recruitment. So this could be to athletics clubs, so recruit for their volunteers for their day-to-day kind of club sessions and their club activity. Promote training, so some of your training opportunities that you promote, so your safeguard and protection children, if that's for the athletics community, we could potentially put that on the website. If you've got any athletics education courses within your area, they can definitely go on. And to celebrate, so a good one could be celebrate the Daily Mile week or similar with your school, so kind of putting together everything that's been done in the term or the academic year and having a bit of a celebration week, then that could be themed up as a London Inspiration project, and where we could get potentially mascot down, an athlete visit, and you can kind of brand it up as Team Personal Best. Inspire people to do new community events, that's an option. So if people, especially athletics clubs, maybe if they're a traditional track and field, maybe they could organise a 5K or 10K, something a little bit different to celebrate and inspire the championships coming. And as I said before, kind of inspiring other sports. So we've got this really, really short window of time where it'd be great to get other sports involved, and they can use athletics as a tool to kind of gear them into their sport. So I've put there a football club using running as an off-season training, or it could be a judo club who simply just want to do a sports day and they want to brand it up as London 2017 Inspiration. So I said before about the website, it's really, really straightforward. So this is a little bit of a screenshot about how to submit your event. So if you see on the top image, on the left-hand side, you've got find an event, and then next to that, you've got submit an event. So if you click through to submit an event, it asks you about 15 questions, really straightforward. The name, the date, the time, contact details, and image. And that's all we're really asking for. Nobody kind of books on through this website, it's just an activity finder. So anybody who comes along, puts their postcode in, finds an event near them that they're interested in, they will then go on and contact that event organiser rather than us directly. following on from this webinar, we've got a step-by-step guide that we can send you to share with your networks, and it's really, really simple. Click on how to do it with kind of some screen grabs, so hopefully everybody will be fine doing that. And also on the website you can sign up for our newsletter here. So we'll do a weekly newsletter with kind of events, some ideas and what's going on within the Team Personal Best team. So for those in the communications department, or we will share this with them after this webinar, this is kind of our comms plan during June, July and August. So this is what we've decided with the strands. We're going to, for each week, we're going to focus on a particular strand. So obviously part of this week and last week was volunteer week, and actually volunteer, which Kerry will speak to you about later on. Volunteering will kind of run through the whole of June, because we're not just celebrating volunteers in July, in the first week of June. And then the highlighted boxes in purple here, here and here, this is where the championships are and cross over. So really naturally we've got kind of 75,000 school children coming to the park during this week for the first week of the IPC World Para Athletic Championships. So we're going to highlight some schools and youth projects and try and get those on BBC Get Inspired and through our networks and sharing those stories. We've also linked with a campaign company called Run Communications, who are helping us do some press releases. So potentially if there's a good event within your area, we can get some press down and kind of put your names within that press release. And then we're going on, we're doing 2 community weeks back to back during the IAAF World Championships. Just naturally, there'll be a lot of stuff going on. Schools are broken up, disability will do within the para athletics, but this doesn't mean disability won't become a community kind of news story and something we focus on. And then one more here, so diversity, we decided it's Notting Hill Carnival, so we're going to do diversity during that week. And then the last week here, 28th of August, we're going to be rounding everything up and almost like a celebration and looking back on what events that have gone on over the summer. So we can share this with you, and we'd love you to work with us, and we can each week provide you with a tweet and a picture, and we'd love that if you could share it, make it really easy for you, but it will be really impactful because obviously you know your areas much better than us. If you I'll send my email address as well, but if you think within any of these weeks you've got a really kind of niche or special event going on, we can send you kind of some resources and tailor it around that for you to use. So following on from this webinar, we are going to give you some resources to hopefully go away and connect with your network and promote Team Personal Best if possible. So as I said before, we've got a step-by-step guide on how to submit an event. We've got the Team Personal Best Partner Pack, which has got lots of tips and advice. You might be engaging with a network that's never delivered athletics before, but they really want to do something a bit special this summer. So hopefully that Partner Pack will help them with all different ideas and who do they go to for safeguarding and protection, children policies and all sorts. Some disability ideas in there. Also on the back of that, I will send you the brand guidelines so you can have a look at what can be shared. An example of the first email to networks. So this is something we did with Manchester a couple of weeks ago. And just an example of the first email that you could send to somebody. What is Team Personal Best? Why it would be great for you to get involved, and how Team Personal Best can support you, and also you can support your networks. The social media content, and also if you're interested on going onto our mailing list, we can email you every week a suggested tweet, a picture and a news article or a press release that you could share. And then if anybody feels that they would like a lock-up logo of your CSP logo and the Team Personal Best, we can provide that really easily. Just need you to send me a high-res, and that we can get that kind of signed off with our designer within a couple of days, so we can get that over to you. Really importantly, Team Personal Best is a short project, so we're only here till kind of September the 30th. So I think lock-up logos are great because they'll recognise your logo as well as a trusted logo, someone they engage with, rather than a team personal best logo that they might not, well, probably would never have seen before. So lock-up logos work really well. But if you have any more ideas or something that you think would really work within your area or your networks would like, and that can help them promote Team Personal Best, there's my email and I'll send it after, but we'd love to hear your ideas. So I'm going to hand over to Kerry, who's the volunteer manager from England Athletics, to talk to you about the volunteer strand.
Thanks, Lucy. I'm really quickly run through now. Is my sound okay? I just wanted to check that because I can hear a bit of feedback. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Fab. So, hello everyone. My name is Kerry Marland. I'm the volunteer manager at England Athletics. And as Lucy mentioned, the volunteer strand does fit into the inspiration program and is part of Team Personal Best. But actually, we've been really fortunate to been given funding by Spirit of 2012 for 3 years, because actually to see real impact in volunteering, it will take that time for us to be able to see that and make plans for the future. So that's why this strand does exceed that September the 30th deadline. So volunteering then, so what are we looking to achieve? So as an organisation, EA really believes that everyone should have that opportunity to be involved in athletics and running, giving them that opportunity to reach their potential. And so how do we do that? Through volunteers, particularly when our sport is completely volunteer delivered. So what we aim to do through this programme is to really support our clubs and groups, firstly to grow the number and the range of opportunities that they have and ensure that they're inclusive, and enable more people to get involved in the sport through their volunteering. And then secondly, to make that volunteering experience really enjoyable and really impactful for the club and for the sport itself. Lucy, I don't know if you're able to click on the next slide for me, if that's okay. Yeah. Thanks. So why are we kind of linking that to London 2017 and then Birmingham 2018? And it's something Lucy alluded to earlier, is that obviously the focus that the Olympics received in 2012 around volunteering, that real inspiration that the Olympics caused, actually saw more people looking for volunteering opportunities. But feedback from our clubs and groups told us that actually they weren't really prepared for that. And actually we want to be able to use that profile that's being brought and actually provide our clubs with more support to how to react to that, but also to be better places for people to volunteer, essentially. So there are a few key areas and initiatives that we're looking at that you could be supporting clubs in your area through. So the first is our Volunteer Champions initiative. So this is around providing a training and support package for clubs who want to explore having volunteer champions in place. So volunteer champions, in essence, are volunteer coordinators. But we actually held a day it was in April, end of April, with people who are already volunteer coordinators in their clubs, and clubs who actually just really want to make this work and really are really passionate about making volunteering a really great experience. We had about 16 people in the room, and what really came from them was that actually having one person in the club take this on is quite a big responsibility. And so actually, how can we make it that within our clubs you might have a few people who are volunteer champions who are there to support the volunteers who are coming through? So that's quite a specific initiative that we're looking to launch. We've gone out to our clubs at the moment and they're applying for this. And the first training day that we'll be holding is the 1st of July. So again, if you are speaking to clubs that you know could potentially benefit from this, so it's additional training from us, potentially management systems that we can give them to better support them to recognise and reward and support their volunteers, then yeah, please do refer them to that. And there's lots of information on our website about that, or you can of course contact me. The second initiative is Game Changers, which is our youth-focused volunteering program. So again, some research we commissioned last year, and actually, you know, I've just been out speaking to clubs, is that they do want to involve more younger people, but actually they're finding it really challenging to do that and to create an environment where young people want to come in and volunteer, and I suppose not be put off that actually they have to give so much time to it. So Game Changers is a funding opportunity for clubs, so they can apply for funding to recruit young people, get them through training, mentoring as well, so there's some money for that, also resources particularly around development and reward and recognition. So obviously with younger people, their onus is more around getting experience, having those things on their CV so that they can go to employers and say, look at all the great things I've done. So a package really where we're supporting clubs to get better at that. And that first wave, we're going through a pilot at the moment, which I know some CSPs did support some of our clubs with, which is fantastic. And so we'll be going to clubs to confirm the ones that have been successful for this first wave, but there will be 2 further waves as well that we'll be going out with. The second is most likely to be when we're through the summer, so September, October time, and then the other will be in January. So that's the Game Changers one. The third is around how we can improve the experience of our existing volunteers. So we're trying to look at how we can get better resources, a feel around developing a community for our volunteers so that they feel part of something. So one of the things we're doing at the minute is setting up an online community for our volunteers to point those people to, and actually ways that we can bring our volunteers together. So at the end of this year, in November time, we're just finalising the date at the moment, we'll be holding our first volunteering conference where we'll be inviting volunteers to attend that, to look at key topics. So it might be really good to have some of you involved in that if that's something people might be interested in, and something I can definitely keep people up to date with as well. The fourth is around campaigning. So really something that came out of our research is people's knowledge around our sport and the fact it is so heavily reliant on volunteers. Actually, people just not realising that and thinking, oh, well, I think the local council deliver that, or, you know, that they're paid people that are doing it. And that can be a barrier to involving more people in sport. So we are going to be talking a lot more about volunteering as an organisation, but also supporting clubs by having dedicated periods of the year where we're talking a lot more around recruitment. And then retention is really around how we celebrate and talk about the great work that volunteers are doing, but also breaking down some of those myths that people might have. So around, you know, oh God, I have to be an expert in athletics, or I have to have been an athlete. Actually just debunking some of those myths and showing that actually you don't have to have any of that, and it's just a really great way to support your community. We've just done we haven't done actually, we're still going through it, but we're going through our first campaign at the moment, which is around thanking and encouraging athletes to celebrate and thank their volunteers, which has gone extremely well so far. We've had a lot of engagement, which has been brilliant to see. And yeah, I'll talk you through that. I think that's my last slide that I'll be talking about. And then the final key area, which is something that Spirit are really keen for us to do, is to ensure that we're sharing what we're learning along the way, because actually, of course, whenever you set up a project, there are things change. Actually, things don't work the way you thought they might do, and to be sure that we're sharing that information. So webinars like this are a great way for us to be able to do that, but also we're going to be producing documents that we can share with people to show what we're learning along the way. So most probably that will be an annual report that we're sharing with people. But also things like, you know, this week we were at the Sports Volunteering Conference, which potentially some of you were at, and our CEO Chris Jones is speaking about that. And it's opportunities like that where we can share what we're trying to achieve, learn from other people as well, which is really important for us, kind of going forward. So those are the main strands really. There is lots more information on it, but I didn't want to kind of overload people. But if you have any specific questions that potentially we couldn't go through today, more than free to contact me, and I'm more than happy to talk that through with anyone. So the main, I suppose, volunteering focus for the summer that we're going to be encouraging clubs to be able to access, and again, as I mentioned before, talking more about that they need volunteers, are a suite of resources we'll have available for clubs to be able to order. So there'll be a guide that volunteers, that clubs can access, talk through holding a volunteering open day. And we really want to make that as easy as possible for them to do. So it goes in different stages. So it might be that they hold a dedicated event, or it might form part of a meet that's already happening, or an event that's already taking place. It's really shaping it to whatever they need. But there'll be, as I say, a booklet, there'll be posters that they can use to help promote it, giveaways they can have along the day, t-shirts they can have. So that's going to be a big push for us, that we'll be working with our teams, and any way that you're able to support and encourage clubs to be holding that would be fantastic. There'll be online versions of them as well, which we're more than happy to be shared with non-athletic and running clubs. So if there are other sports that could benefit from those resources, then they will be freely available as well via the Team Personal Best website. It's more the actual collateral that we'd be sending out would be more focused around our athletics and running clubs for this kind of phase. So what will be available then? So there'll be, as I mentioned, there'll be a guide, resources and giveaways. We're encouraging clubs to sign up on Team Personal Best, because again, that will promote their events, and our club sport managers within England Athletics will be supporting and being able to share and promote in their local areas as well. So I think that was on the next slide, Lucy, if you just want to quickly click on that one. Brill, it's just a rundown of that. And then finally then, I just wanted to share the thank you campaign that we've just launched, so that we kicked that off with Volunteers Week. So we've been using the hashtag #YouMakeItHappen, and that's become something that people have responded really, really well to, that we've been incredibly pleased about. And, you know, we've had athletes sharing their thanks. We've had clubs wanting to show and promote how brilliant their volunteers are. We have at the moment, throughout June, some thank you postcards available, which are orderable via our website. So again, athletics and running clubs can email us and we can post those out to them, but they're just free cards that they can write a short message on to give, to just show how much they appreciate the volunteers in their clubs. But this is definitely something that we'll be revisiting, because we've had such good response to it. And yeah, but it's just been really great for us to see, because it's the first kind of dedicated volunteering campaign that we've led with, and has just been really good for us, really. So that's kind of all from me. So if there are any questions from anyone, I don't know if Lee wants to kind of read them out to us and go about it. But yeah, just thank you for your time. And if there isn't anything we're not able to cover today, you want any more information, our details are there on that slide, and please do contact either one of us.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kerry and Lucy. Really useful. We haven't had any questions as of yet, so if I just give people the chance to ask them now, just while I wrap up. But yeah, just to say again, thank you for your time. In terms of actions for anyone who's interested after this, I would say really that would be a local call, local decision as to how you engage with this programme. There's some really useful resources there. and there's some examples of what has worked well in the past and what could work well in the future. And as I said at the beginning, resources and further information will come out to you, and this recording will be made available for you to refer back to or to send on to colleagues. Bear with me, I think I've just had a question come in. Lucy and Kerry, you should be able to see this anyway now. Now you've stopped presenting anyway.
Yeah, I've just found where to look at them.
There's a question from Louise. Just says, do you have a list of clubs and schools who have engaged, signed up, so that we can offer our direct support to them? So have you got a list of those that have signed up, so CSPs can have that knowledge and offer a bit of support to them as well?
Yeah, we've got that. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. You go, Lucy.
So there's a couple. We've been directly talking to schools, everybody who's signed up to the starting blocks, which is a little bit different to our schools resources. So that's provided by London 2017, not Team Personal Best. So we've been communicating through that. So that's everybody who signed up there. So we could probably share that, and we can also share who signed up to us directly. And then also England Athletics will have a list of schools that have had the 365 resources that we've promoted to. So due to data protection and stuff like that, I'm not sure if we can give out email addresses and contact details, but we can definitely share what school it is within the area. But I will go back and check that.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to say from my perspective, we're about to let the clubs know who have been successful for Game Changers, which is our youth volunteering fund. So yeah, support with that would be fantastic. So when I've confirmed with them that they've been successful, I'm more than happy to give you a list of clubs that are engaged with that. If people, particularly volunteering leads, can engage with them, that would be brilliant. And I'm just trying to think around the volunteer champion. It might be worth, after we've done that 1st of July training session, after that letting you guys know what clubs are involved in that, because yeah, just to see how that goes and make sure that they're all kind of on board and want to be involved kind of past that, I suppose.
Sorry, Louise, I only answered the schools part, not the clubs. Yeah, I can provide that. The clubs that have signed up already to Team Personal Best or have signed up to another project across the strands. I can continue to do that if that helps. I could send an update of people that are signing up. That's no problem. And we also have a list of clubs who have affiliated with England Athletics, so running and track and field. And we can share comms that are going to them if that's helpful. So we'll be sending weekly or bi-weekly comms to affiliated clubs. So I'm more than happy to share what's going through them with you.
It might also be worth if you just go on the Team Personal Best website and then find an event in your area and just looking in your area as well, just to see if there have been any events kind of put up there already.
Okay, cool. I think that answers the question. We haven't had any more questions in. Louise just said, yes, thank you for that. Okay, great, yeah. So I think that has answered Louise's question. So I think we've come to an end. There aren't any other questions or comments. So we're getting a couple of thank you messages coming in via the chat box. So I'll stop the recording and feel free now to leave the webinar, and everyone's obviously got Lucy and Kerry's contact details, and we'll get the resources out to you and the slides out to you as promised. Okay, thank you everyone.